It's 3 a.m. again. The city's asleep, but your mind keeps pacing. You check your phone, scroll a bit, but the ache doesn't leave. It's not sadness. It's the quiet hunger of a man who knows he's been running on autopilot. You keep showing up, doing what's expected, but somewhere along the way, you stop feeling alive. Reinvention doesn't start when life gets easier. It starts when you stop pretending you're fine. Think of yourself as a craftsman restoring an old instrument, polishing, adjusting, realigning, one careful touch at a time. That's what these habits do. They tune you back to truth. 8 small shifts, practical, human, doable. Each one a quiet correction toward who you were meant to be. So here's the question. If nothing around you changed for the next 30 days, could you still become someone new? If that stirs even a spark inside you, stay. Because what follows isn't theory. It's training for the man you promised yourself you'd become. On the 2-minute morning reset, most people don't realize this. Your day doesn't begin when the alarm rings. It begins the moment your mind chooses who commands the first thought. For most, that commander is chaos, a glowing screen, notifications, someone else's agenda. We wake not into life, but into reaction, into other people's urgency. The Stoics would have called that the first surrender, the quiet moment where you give your mind to strangers before you've even given it to yourself. But what if the first 2 minutes of your morning decided everything? Not the schedule, not the tasks, your center. 2 minutes of quiet could be the hinge between a reactive life and a directed one. Sit at the edge of your bed. No phone, no talk, no rush, just stillness. Let your thoughts drift through like travelers in a station. Some are loud, some are wounded, some are afraid. You don't chase them, you don't judge them, you simply watch them pass, knowing not every traveler deserves a ticket into your day. That's all. 2 minutes. But in those 2 minutes, you reestablish something most people lose forever: the sovereignty of your mind. Seneca once wrote that a man is enslaved to whatever he cannot pause before. That's what this reset trains. The pause before the world's noise owns you. I once saw an old man trimming one bonsai leaf at a time in the park. People passed by, laughing, scrolling, rushing. He didn't look up once, just shaped the silence leaf by leaf until the tree looked alive again. That's what these 2 minutes do. They shape your awareness before life overgrows it. Try it tomorrow, before your teeth, before your coffee, before the scroll. Sit in the quiet. Notice what tries to claim your attention. Worry, envy, old guilt, even yesterday's dreams. Label them gently, then let them pass. Do this for a week. You'll start seeing how the same thoughts repeat, like commercials in your head. And once you see the pattern, you're no longer trapped in it. When life throws its first wave at you, that one email, that one argument, you'll feel the difference. You won't be swept away. You'll remember, this is just another thought passing through, not a command. And in that instant, choice returns. This is the first discipline of the Stoic mind, to observe before you obey, not to control every thought, but to recognize which ones deserve a response. That's where peace hides, not in silence, but in selection. So tomorrow morning, when the world tries to wake you with noise, ask yourself quietly, will I wake as a passenger or as the conductor? If that question hits somewhere deep, write it below. Because the act of reflection, that's where transformation begins. 2, precision gratitude. When was the last time you felt real gratitude? Not the kind you post, not the kind you repeat at night like a checklist, but the kind that makes you stop mid-step and breathe. I used to say I was grateful for my family. my health, my work. It sounded right, respectable, but it wasn't real. It was duty without depth, like brushing your teeth just to keep decay away. Then one morning, I was running late. Coffee in one hand, mind already in the next hour. The bus door was closing when the driver caught my eye and waited 2 seconds longer. 2 seconds, that's all. But when I sat down, I felt something quiet shift. For the first time in a long while, I didn't rush to name it. I just noticed it. That's what gratitude really is. Noticing. Not the grand gesture, not the sermon, the microscopic detail that hides between the seconds. It's the discipline of seeing what most eyes skip. Like a craftsman tracing the grain of wood before carving, you trace the invisible effort behind every small mercy in your day. Look around right now. What's still working that you didn't thank today? The friend who answered your text without needing context. The stranger who held the door. The body that carried you through another long day without asking for applause. Try this tonight. Don't list 10 things. Write one. One small detail that softened your day. Then ask yourself 2 questions. Who made it possible? Why did it matter? That's it. No fireworks, no journal aesthetic, just one honest line. Because every time you trace the chain behind a small moment, awe sneaks in through the back door of awareness. Suddenly the ordinary glows. Neuroscientists now confirm what the Stoics live by. Micro-gratitude rewires the mind. It trains your attention to scan for harmony before hostility, for what's steady instead of what's missing. Epictetus said, "He rejoices in what he has." He didn't mean blind happiness. He meant precision, the kind that studies blessings until they reveal the quiet intelligence of life itself. So tonight, don't just say thank you, trace it. Notice who and what kept your day from collapsing. Because gratitude isn't emotion, it's recognition. And recognition, practiced precisely, becomes reverence. And what about you? When was the last time you stopped chasing what's loud and noticed what was quietly saving you all along? 3, the midday energy check. You don't notice it at first. The slow drain. One quick message, one forced smile, one task that doesn't matter but still steals your morning. By noon, you're running on fumes, not because the day was hard, but because you never closed the leaks. Most people don't burn out from effort. They burn out from interference, from trying to stay available to everything and aligned with nothing. I once met a man who ran a small design firm. Brilliant mind, chaotic schedule. By lunch, he'd already answered 40 messages, half of them meaningless. When I asked how he handled stress, he said, "I just keep going. If I stop, I'll lose momentum." He didn't realize he'd already lost it. Energy isn't taken from us violently. It evaporates in silence. In the half attention we give to noise disguised as importance. The Stoics had a name for this: misdirected motion. Not weakness, just waste. Because motion without awareness turns into erosion. So pause once today, not to think, but to scan. Are your shoulders tight? Is your breathing shallow? Is your body working harder than your purpose? That's not fatigue. That's a signal. Your system is overclocked. Too many tabs open, no reset in sight. Kai once told me something in the forest I never forgot. I was riding his old horse, nervous, gripping too tight. He said quietly, "The horse feels you before it hears you." I loosened my grip, and the horse instantly relaxed. That's how energy works. It mirrors you. Control it by tension, you'll drain. Align it by calm, you'll flow. Here's the truth. Every moment is an exchange. Some refill you, some drain you. Wisdom is learning the difference, in choosing deposits over withdrawals. Steve Jobs once said that focus is saying no to 1,000 things. He wasn't talking about time management. He was talking about spiritual economy, the discipline of deciding what deserves your current. Try this today. Set one boundary, ignore one message that doesn't deserve your response. Take one slow walk without your phone. Don't call it a break, call it maintenance. By evening, you'll feel it. Less noise, more current. A steadiness that doesn't depend on caffeine or chaos. Because mastery isn't about isolating yourself. It's about sealing the leaks, protecting the current that moves your life forward. So before the day ends, ask yourself, who or what got my best energy today? If the answer doesn't include you, tomorrow is your chance to start realignment. If you felt that subtle drain today, hit the like button to set your intention for tomorrow. 4. The one-breath self-talk swap. The world hits you once. Your mind hits you twice. Small mistakes, big punishments. That's how the mind traps you before the day even begins. Useless, clumsy, always you. That voice doesn't fix the problem. It multiplies it. It turns a moment into a spiral, one thought into a storm. The Stoics called it the second arrow. That's the line that changes everything. Psychologists call it rumination. Different names, same bruise. The shift is simple. When that voice attacks, count 4 slow beats before replying. No man ever grew from insulting himself. In that pause, you rewrite the script. Say quietly, with what I knew, I did what I could. Now I know more, you're not excusing. You're evolving mid-sentence. Once, on a mountain trail, I slipped and tore my palm open. The old reflex said, careless. The new one whispered, learned. I tied my laces tighter and kept climbing. The mountain didn't need my shame. It needed my steadiness. We confuse punishment with progress. But if self-criticism really worked, we'd all be enlightened by now. Leonardo da Vinci spent months perfecting brushstrokes that would be buried beneath layers of paint. When asked why, he said, because God sees the underpainting. That's self-talk done right, the unseen discipline that shapes the visible man. So the next time you're tempted to drag yourself, switch weapons from whip to mirror. A whip silences you for a minute. A mirror reintroduces you to your integrity. You can still laugh at yourself. Humor is not cruelty. It's humility in disguise. Smile at your mistake, nod to it, and move like a man who just upgraded his software. The mind that forgives itself moves faster, learns deeper, becomes the kind of calm others can stand beside, without even knowing why. That's the quiet charisma of the healed. They no longer talk down to themselves, so the world stops talking down to them too. Take a second, let it land. You've built awareness, now let's build direction. The next chapters turn reflection into rhythm, and rhythm into power. You're watching Move or Die Stoic, where the strong learn to be still, and the still learn to rise. 5. The Nightly Done Declaration. Epictetus said, do your duty in the place where you are, it is enough. Most people never hear that as permission. They hear it as pressure. They lie in bed replaying every unfinished task, counting absences instead of completions. And before the body can rest, the mind starts its nightly trial. The verdict is always the same. Not enough. But peace isn't built by doing everything. It's built by doing something, fully, by ending each day with presence instead of punishment. Every night before sleep, write down 3 things you completed, not achievements, completions. Moments that whisper, I showed up. You replied to that message you'd been avoiding. You stayed calm when irritation tried to pull you in. You drank water instead of scrolling. Tiny acts, yes, but each one is proof of integrity. This ritual isn't a checklist, it's a ceremony, a way of telling your nervous system, the day is complete. You may rest a few winters ago, Elena and I were packing donations for a shelter, boxes half done, wrapping paper everywhere. She sighed, we didn't finish, but I saw her smile while imagining a child opening that box. That was the finish line, not the tape, but the intention. That night I wrote in my journal, I stayed present in the giving. It looked small, but it built peace that lasted for days. After a week of this practice, you start noticing what's done instead of what's missing. You begin to respect effort more than outcome, and that quiet respect builds confidence, the kind that doesn't ask for applause, only consistency. The Romans called it fides, faithfulness to your own word, not to God's, not to others, to yourself. So tonight, when the world goes dark, light one small flame. Write 3 lines, no filters, no decoration, just truth. Because every done is a brick of trust, and brick by brick, you'll rebuild the man you promised to become. Do it tonight. Write your 3 completions. Tomorrow, walk taller, because you kept your word. 6. The 30-day operating system transformation isn't born from fireworks. It's built in rhythm. Quiet, deliberate, disciplined rhythm. No applause, no spotlight, just you showing up when no one's looking. The Stoics never waited for breakthroughs. They built systems that carried them through storms. Marcus Aurelius wrote each dawn not to impress, but to align, because a steady rhythm is the highest form of prayer. Every life has rhythm, like an engine that needs tuning. The question is, who's behind the wheel? Who's been conducting your rhythm lately? You or the world? Here's the truth. You don't need intensity. You need integrity of return. Discipline is your metronome. It doesn't rush. It doesn't stall. It just keeps time when you forget the beat. Don't count what you finish. Count what you come back to. Because what you return to becomes who you are. 30 days isn't a number. It's a ritual cycle. The time it takes to rewire a thought, reshape a pattern, rebuild identity. After 30 days of small returns, you'll meet yourself again. Most people chase novelty, new hacks, new promises, new highs. But novelty fades. Rhythm endures. Because rhythm is identity in motion. I once met a carpenter rebuilding an old door by hand. Every morning, same movements. Sand, measure, sand again. When I asked if he was bored, he smiled. Wood remembers patience. So does your mind. Your rhythm is your engine. Your morning reset sharpens focus. Your gratitude restores balance. Your nightly declaration builds trust. Your awareness holds them all together. Do it for 30 days. Not perfectly, just faithfully. You'll wake one morning and realize the old patterns don't fit anymore. The people who drain you feel distant. You've quietly upgraded your operating system. Years ago, when everything collapsed, I began a ritual. Each night I lit a single candle. No prayers, no mantras, just light. I would stare at the flame and whisper, I am a man of worth. At first I didn't believe it. The words felt empty, like they belonged to someone braver. But I kept saying them, softly, as if teaching my soul to listen again. And one night, something shifted. The words stopped sounding like hope. They started sounding like truth. That's when I learned, transformation isn't about waiting for light to find you. It's about proving you're still willing to light the match. You become what you do repeatedly, not what you wish, not what you post, what you return to. Writers, warriors, thinkers, builders. None of them were born great. They were born rhythmic. Even Michael Jordan missed thousands of shots alone before anyone called him a legend. That's rhythm. Devotion without audience. So for the next 30 days, protect your rhythm like an engine that keeps your life running smooth. Miss one? Don't collapse. Return. Every return is resurrection. That's not poetry, that's proof. Your move, pick one small ritual. Guard it like oxygen. Do it for 30 days and watch your old self lose track of you. Ready to commit? Share this video with a friend who needs an OS upgrade, because this is how transformation really happens. Not in noise, but in rhythm. 7. The art of saying no. How much of your exhaustion comes from saying yes when your heart whispered no? Most men don't burn out from chaos. They burn out from courtesy. Every polite surrender, every sure I can help, chips away at your peace until your life becomes a museum of other people's priorities. Saying no isn't rebellion, it's refinement. It's how your soul edits its own story. I once knew a designer, brilliant, respected, drowning. His phone rang like an alarm clock he could never shut off. Clients, charities, just one small favor. He said yes to everyone but the man in the mirror. One afternoon, his daughter appeared at the door with a soccer ball. "Dad, the game's starting." He looked at his inbox, then at her and said softly, "Not today. I already promised someone else." Then he turned off his phone and walked out. That was his first real number, not to people, but to the noise that had stolen his presence. The Stoics warn that time isn't measured by clocks, but by clarity. Seneca wrote, "We are not short of time, but we waste much of it. Every unexamined yes shortens your spirit. Before agreeing to anything, pause and ask, does this serve who I'm becoming? What will it cost my calm tomorrow? If the cost is your composure, it's too expensive. You don't owe anyone an explanation for protecting your peace. A gentle no is not arrogance. It's self-respect spoken fluently. Once a week, reclaim a single hour. No phones, no favors, no noise. Call it your sacred unavailability. Let people learn that your time isn't public property. It's sacred ground. Think of each no as an architect's line. Every boundary redraws the blueprint of your real life. Fewer walls, more windows, more light. Even Picasso said, "Art is the elimination of the unnecessary." Your peace works the same way. At first, people will resist. They'll call you distant, changed, even selfish. Let them. Because those who truly value your presence will celebrate your boundaries, not test them. And here's what you'll discover. Solitude isn't isolation, it's ownership. When you protect your time, your love becomes concentrated. You stop giving fragments. You start giving essence. So, what would your peace look like if you stopped renting it out? Try this. Say one honest no this week. The kind that protects your future self. Not to rebel, but to refine. You'll be amazed how fast your strength returns when your peace finally belongs to you again. 8. The discipline of emotional detachment. Every man eventually learns this truth. Not everything that touches you deserves to stay inside you. Most people confuse feeling deeply with living deeply. They absorb every mood in the room, every silence, every disappointment, and call it being real. But unfiltered emotion isn't depth. It's chaos wearing sincerity as a disguise. Emotional detachment isn't coldness. It's precision. It's the discipline of standing in a storm and deciding what enters your house. You can love without losing balance. You can care without carrying. You can feel everything and still remain whole. I once watched a boxer after a brutal round. Blood on his lip, sweat dripping, crowd screaming. He sat down, exhaled once and said, "Don't fix my cut. Fix my focus." That's detachment, not running from pain, but refusing to let it rewrite your center. The Stoics called this the reserve clause. Act fully, but always add, if fate allows. It's their way of saying, I'll give my best, but I don't belong to the outcome. Because the moment your peace depends on what you can't control, you've handed your power to chaos. Modern culture romanticizes overexposure. Feel everything, share everything, bleed publicly. But authenticity without boundaries isn't truth. It's emotional pollution. Even glass shatters when stretched too thin. Detachment isn't withdrawal. It's awareness trained into muscle. Here's how you start. 1. The label and leave drill. When emotion strikes, name it. This is anger. This is envy. This is fear. Then walk away from the thought for 60 seconds. Naming breaks fusion. You become the witness, not the wound. 2. The physical reset. When someone provokes you, lower your shoulders before speaking. That single move tells your nervous system, I'm not living inside this reaction. The mind obeys posture faster than philosophy. That's where real control begins. In the body, not the mind. Do this for a week. Emotions still come, but shorter, softer, cleaner. That's how mastery begins. Not in suppression, but in selection. Epictetus taught, it's not things that disturb us, but our opinions about things. Each time you detach, you're refining those opinions until calm becomes instinct. Detachment isn't about avoiding love. It's learning to love without needing to own. There's love that clings and love that witnesses. Only the second one frees both souls. So next time chaos knocks, don't hide. Open the door, smile slightly and say, I see you, but you don't live here anymore. When you stop explaining your calm, you've already won. That's not indifference, that's evolution. But remember, Stoic calm was never meant to end with you. The point of inner steadiness isn't isolation, it's contribution. A calm mind makes you useful. A centered heart makes you trustworthy. Detachment isn't escape, it's preparation. Because when the world burns, someone must stay composed enough to help rebuild it. So once you found your stillness, return to serve. That's how the Stoic closes the circle. From self-mastery to shared duty. Simple practice. For 7 days, practice naming emotions out loud before reacting. Do it now, before your mind finds an excuse. That single act could reset your entire week. Track the moments you stayed calm when you once would have cracked. That's the evidence. Not that you're colder, but that you've finally become in command. One morning you'll wake and realize something subtle has changed. The world is still loud. Deadlines, noise, demands. But you're steady. What used to shake you now feels like background sound. You didn't escape pain. You refined it. You didn't run from pressure. You learned to work calm inside it. That's not perfection. It's alignment. And alignment is freedom you can feel in your bones. Every habit you practiced, awareness, gratitude, rhythm, restraint, wasn't about control. It was about clarity. Clarity that builds strength quietly, like muscles under a shirt no one sees. Now comes the part the Stoics live for. Service. Real strength isn't for display, it's for duty. Use your calm where others panic. Bring order where others spiral. That's what a Stoic does. Not withdraw, but lead without noise. So before you close this page, pause. Choose one habit that spoke to you most. Live it for 7 days. Then come back and live with us. If this idea of detachment resonated, subscribe to join the community dedicated to true calm. Because discipline isn't built by watching, it's built by returning. And when the next test arrives, and it will, you won't need to search for strength, you'll already be living it. Welcome home, move or die Stoic.